All right, hello. What have we got here? Well, this is the water rig, mining rig that Dylan and I created from scratch. It was sort of a pet project, hobby, because we were going to build a computer, just a basic, tower computer. And then, things were getting bigger because this motherboard is able to support 12 graphics cards. And you can see those little circuit board things you stick in there, PCIe slot. And then there's a primary PCIe slot. You can see it's long, but I only have to put that little connectors in there. And then you connect them to these USB cables and they go up to the graphics cards. And that is the regular Pentium Intel processor for the computer. And in the back of the computer here is just like what you would see on your desktop, where you got a network, you got the microphone cable, you got USB, you can stick in there, you got HDMI, so that feeds the monitor. So what's happening here is I got a special program running because there are 12 graphics cards and a lot of fans to blow and keep them cool. Why would you want all that? And that is because it's mining cryptocurrency. It's running hash rate every second. So what that means is, this is my best. What's running right now is it's calculating 166 mega hashes a second. 166 million hashes, a million answers to algorithms per second. That's the program it's running because it's the best one that is able to do. So it estimates about in U.S. currency $63.70 a month, based on the current configuration and what the hash rate it's getting right now. It's subject to change. It can go up and down slightly. The price of Bitcoin, the difficulty of the hashing rate, the number of miners in the world that are out there hashing, and some many are creating much more hash rate than I could ever do. I mean, I'm doing a hash rate of, what did I say? 100 and benchmarks. 166 mega hashes. I do believe that just even changed a little bit, maybe from what anyway. And others are doing the gigahashes, which is the next step up, and then petahashes, which is even higher. And they're earning real whole entire bitcoins, but I'm only getting little pieces of it. So total power is 1.73 kilowatts, right? 1,730 kilowatts, like 17 light bulbs. In the old days when they were 100 watts each, you could think of it like that. It's mining a little bit of Monero, using the central processing unit for a small hash rate. And then it adds that to all 12 graphics cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 total graphics cards. Most of them are these generic Nvidia P104s, and 2 of them are our actual GeForce RTXs that are good for gaming and displays. You can see the power each one uses, the fan speed. Now, only 2 of them actually have a fan, right? These GeForce, that's a gigabyte brand. It's also the Nvidia processor there. But those are the only ones with fans. The rest of these don't have fans. They utilize these fans to blow across. So that's why you don't see fan speed, except for on 2 of the things. Fan speed, power usage, temperature of the unit, 90 degrees Celsius is the hottest, so these are running at the hottest they could potentially be. They'll kind of burn you. Hey baby.
Hi.
Alien Joy. Yeah, stir it, and if it's thick enough you could turn the heat off.
Okay.
because it's ready to eat. So other pages here can tell a few different things. If I go down to the video, visit console settings. It's getting too long. We could look at what kind of information is here available to us. Like so far, the total mining has produced $37.94 worth of Bitcoin. And if we look at the workers, they call them workers. The rig that we're running right now, what a rig, I named it. So it's doing 175 mega hash. That's actually been a good reading that I get. It actually is mining Ravencoin. Don't ask me the whole reason why. And then after it mines the Ravencoin, it then converts that to Bitcoin in my account. So I have a total so far of the 0.00059 Bitcoin, and that's worth about 37.54 in today's dollars. I could mine Kudos, but I'm not sure what to do with those just yet. So I'm sticking with Bitcoin, so that when I get to 0.0008, I can withdraw funds, withdraw my Bitcoin, to a wallet of mine, pay a small fee, and then when I'm over 0.008, it's going to allow me to actually withdraw an amount. Right now, the net amount of 0.058 is not enough. I got to have 0.008 at the point that I could actually all withdraw it to my own private wallet. But for now, you can see the transactions, which are in this account on Cudominer, that each day that I've mined from September 27, 28, 29th, and so on. Right, most days it's been running at full capacity of what I had, so $1.87, then 50 cents, $1.87, 82, 179, 181, 157, then a penny when it wasn't running really, and then 19 cents, and then $1.09. And right now it's back up to absolutely full power today, starting tonight, with, like I keep saying, the 12 video cards running. This is the hot side of it where the heat comes out. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a smaller stature video card, but still a very good quality. 6. Then down to this rack, we got a 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and 12 video card adapters. And it requires several power supplies, really, or they'll burn up. Because this one could put out 1,000 watts, that one could put out 1,500 watts, this one could put out 850 watts. That power supply in that corner can do 850 watts. And then my basic one over here, the cheapest one, can do 500 watts. But I learned quickly that you don't want to underpower. If you underpower, the video cards will absolutely burn out in the power supplies. So 500 watts is barely enough just to do like one video card that's at 180 watts and then another function of some sort. But so you can see they're all powered up. Many of them in 2 locations. It's got one power supply here and another one up at the top. Alright, and so each one of those are using 150 to 180 watts. Even this gigabyte uses 180 watts. And then this little one here is more efficient, it uses 70 watts, but it doesn't have a top connector for it. It just uses the power down there on the board from the riser. This one's got a fancy circuit board to plug it into. It's called the riser because you rise it off of the motherboard and run it elsewhere. So those are called risers. Each video card has a riser. It's powered below. It's powered above. That's the fancy one. Powered below. Powered above. Not powered above. Not that one. That one is powered below. Powered above. And it's running stable. everything's doing good, and the Bitcoin keeps going into the account. So it does create a bit of heat here. Have to say it can't really run 24 hours for very long, or the house gets hot. But I think as the fall weather rolls around and things get cold around here, we're going to open this window, let the cool fall air come in, and heat the house up a little bit, but also air things out and make use of this and see how much we could earn in Bitcoin. Keep it invested and see whatever Bitcoin's worth in the future. And this will be technically hard-earned free Bitcoin, minus the cost of the hobby to build in the first place. But there was a huge learning curve in the whole thing, and learning about the mining process and how it works and what it is, how it secures crypto networks. The hash rate keeps them honest. It's a way of checking all the transactions, of verifying them among many users, coming to a consensus and approving them at really just a lightning fast rate. It's nothing you could ever really see with your own eyes that I know of. I don't know how to look into the code and actually see any kind of algorithms or hashing going on, but I've read about how it works, and I know how to tap into some of the mining pools. And what you do at a mining pool is you're basically donating your hash rate, mine being 164 mega hashes a second, and then it goes into the pool, and this pool decides, this Cudominer decides really which is your best option for mining, what's going to get you the most. And that's where the benchmarks come in, because it takes tests over time, and it lists your highest best result on the top using the Kapow T-Rex 0.26.4 algorithm. I get the best hash rate and the best final revenue from it. So it puts that at the top, and then that is the main one that's running on the Nvidia cards, the Kapow. The hash rate on this page isn't accurate for whatever reason, but it is running all 12 graphics cards. You can see the power usage on each one, and it changes the temperature of it. The utilization is at 100%. The memory that the video card has, 8 gigabytes or 6, and then the name of it. And then another very accurate page I found to be is the benchmarks are good. Jobs, history, settings. I think it's on the console miner. Workers. You go to workers, and you see that the What a Rig is working, and that gives an accurate 172.6 mega hashes a second. That really has been the best. But when I click on What a Rig to look at it, it reports an inaccurate mega hash. But still around the $60 a month. The power usage thing's accurate. The different statistics about the fan speed and the power usage seems to be the same, but for some reason it just doesn't return. It only says I have 2 GPUs, and that's not true. If I go to workers again, yeah, that shows two squares for GPUs, so that's not a good place to look at. Manage devices. Yes, so if I go to manage devices and look at What a Rig, which I've also labeled with Satoshi, it's a Windows type, it's running, and it's got the 12 graphics cards are here, listed in a grid form. So it's recognizing all 12 graphics cards at 101.81 kilowatts, so that's accurate. But it's not at 30 mega hashes. For some reason, I don't know why that's so inaccurate. But the way to get an accurate reading on mega hashes is go to the workers tab and just look. It's at really 172 mega hashes. And I guess that would get you $1.93 a day estimate, and then per month. So that's the rig. The video is quite long. We'll probably have to shorten it up. One last thing that I found about power supply is that if a power supply is not connected to the motherboard and the processor, that's what tells the power supply to turn on and supply other types of power, like the PCIe slots and the ATI or whatever other types of power, and the Molex cables. You know, power supplies have different types of power. That this is Molex. It's not being used. This would be one for a CPU, central processing unit, power for that, and then there's other kinds of connectors, like this is called the ATI or SATA, SATA, SATA connector. And the SATA connectors were actually what I used here to power the bottom of a lot of these cards. You can see there's SATA, and then SATA power black from a power source, and then it's on this, and then it's transferred over to this jumper cable that goes to a graphics card at the bottom. That only supplies 75 watts or so, just basic operation. So to run like this gigabyte card, you got to have the bottom one connected. Top one connected. So the SATA power is enough, even though we're transferring it over to go into the PCIe connector. It provides the basic wattage to run the card, and then the top one gives you the other 100 watts really that you need to really get your hash rate. And it makes these things hot. Each one of these cards is hot to the touch. Even this low one here, low, make sure I don't get my finger in the fan. You touch the cooling block, the sink, it's hot. Every single one of these, it's like having a hair dryer going, you know? It's hard to see and hear exactly what's going on, but that's a hard drive right there, a solid state drive. It's a one terabyte drive. And I put that in before I learned other things. But on this computer motherboard, where you actually put the hard drive is here. Looks like a stick of gum. There's the SATA solid state digital 2 terabyte main hard drive. But right now, that's not where my operating system is located. The operating system is in that other card that I have in the back, that other hard drive that's connected with the SATA cable. So I have 2 storage devices connected to here, one of which is getting used. The other one is just for learn how to transfer the operating system over to that stick of gum one. And then the primary one is that's the processor, Pentium Core i7 6700K, I think, processor. It worked very well into that motherboard, specially designed to handle 12 graphics cards. It's doing so very stable now. I've got the memory full, boost up with the 2 memory cards in there. I forget what the total memory was, 32 gigabytes or something. And then the 8 fans blowing directly across those cards, keeping them cool, and keeping track of the statistics here. So next time around, we'll see, after I get my 0.008 Bitcoin and I can transfer it to my own wallet, I'm going to try other mining programs to see how they do, if you earn more, or if I could withdraw before getting to a certain amount of Bitcoin. But there's other types that are out there. This is one for Monero, the GUI, the GUI wallet. And then there's Easy Miner, which mines Litecoin. But I haven't found it to be very lucrative at all. And then there's MinerStat, which I think has mining, and it also allows you to keep a good look, keep a good eye on what your parameters are of your mining. So there's a lot out there for mining and for donating your hash rate so that you can earn cryptocurrency rewards in the form of one token or another. So anyway, that's the mining rig. Regular computer, got the mouse, and I got a speaker. If there's music I want to play, there's a microphone. If I want to ask Copilot a question, we got the regular keyboard. We've got a nice monitor, nice curved monitor that Dylan and Haley and Maria got me for Christmas. I hope you got a good look at the inside. I don't do good cable management. It's not too pretty, but, and then again, it is pretty. That's that, and then on the ground we got the dials for this. The fans. The fans are actually separate. I could turn those off, but it gets quite hot, so we want those on full speed, so they're blowing air across through to the back. That's the direction of the heat, plus the fan overhead. Power supply. Fans come on as necessary. This one also. And then for a power strip, I found this monster one to handle the load very well. In addition to one of the main power supplies I have, it's got its own cable. So as I touch these, they're warm, but they're not overheated. But I have not blown a fuse, so I don't think it's using that much. And this is not overly hot. When I touch this yellow, it's handling the load very nicely. And it's been up around 2,000 watts, so it's handling a lot. Well, that's enough for now, and I hope you enjoy the video. I hope it helps. I haven't answered really specific questions as to what's going on, but like I have this device here that tells me the voltage of one of my power supplies. It's a power supply tester, and the reason I have that connected is because it tells this power supply to be on, because this power supply is not connected to a motherboard, so it wouldn't know when to send PCI power. Well, that tester is connected here as if it was a motherboard and a processor down here. So these wires are going just to the tester, and that gives me my voltage, but also tells the power supply to, hey, let's be on like we're a computer. And then so I'm able to connect in. I connected several PCI connectors that now are powering cards. So 600 to 800 watts or so are being controlled by this. I have to follow these up and see. 180, yeah, and then this power supply is connected to the motherboard, so it comes on when I push the power button. This 500 watter, the small one, I have another type of button here that I turn on because it's connected to the motherboard connector to this 500 watt power supply. So it's not connected to the motherboard, it's connected to this switch. So I tell them this power supply to come on by using the switch and fooling it that it's connected to a motherboard when it is not. And this one over here, the 850, is connected to the motherboard because the motherboard has actually two inputs for main ATX power. 1 and 2. So it requires two power supplies to begin with, plus one connector for the processor. So one power supply has to do a motherboard and the processor. And the other power supply just does that second motherboard, ATX power. So two of them are connected to the motherboard, two power supplies, and one's connected to the processor. The other two power supplies are I have to fool to turn on. This one and this one.
Where are you going?
I'm making a video for YouTube, I think.
I'll show you.
Well, no. Yeah. But that is my mining experience so far. Isn't that right? Right. All right. This is a small factor, the GeForce card. And this would be a regular size factor. But they're both, yeah, I did. The Gigabyte 2060. The Gigabyte 2060. Stroga, yeah, have it. All right, so we'll check back later and see how the mining is going. Thanks for hanging out and sticking out with us. Look, I can zoom in like that, huh? I don't know if I wanted all my risers to have those flashing lights like that, but most of them have at least a basic red and blue to tell you the power is there. And I did burn one out. And I had to throw it away. This is it.
I thought you were the alpha.
Oh, this is a riser.
I didn't know you were still recording.
That's throwing that away.